put in our trigger. Trigger just kind of slides in there. Let's see if I can get her in there. There we go. Sometimes that little spring will catch. You just push it in and it'll pop right in. So trigger's down where it should be. Now's the fun part. Alright, we're back up to the barrel and its assembly. This is where it starts to suck a little bit. So you get that little tiny spring I told you not to lose, that I lost. Get this little guy in, and there's a groove that it sits in. You can kind of see that groove. If you pull this up, it pulls that spring up, so make sure you keep downward pressure on it once it's in. Before you slide this in, like I was just about to, you got to put these things, your mag release, or your slide release, excuse me, pops in there. And on the opposite side, popping in this direction, is the magazine safety device, whatever the hell that's called. And this whole thing, at least on mine, let's see, at least on mine, sucks. It's tight. Here we go. You gotta play that balancing act, getting everything in. That little spring popped out. There might be an easier way to do this, but I couldn't find anybody doing it. Let's see if we can do this. Ooh, I think we got it. There we go. Let's make sure that you can see this gap down here. Make sure there isn't a gap there. It's pressed against it firmly. Everything pops in. Our little spring's still there and works. Okay, now I want to say best thing to do now is get that little pin with the crown or ridge on it, whatever you call it, and this spring. And this spring, this is when the forceps come in handy. I like to grab it something like this. And there's a little channel that you probably aren't going to be able to see in, but the spring is going to sit in like this. And it's tough to get it down. It wants to sit down here, so you have to get underneath it and pry it up into position. If you're working on yours, you'll see it. So I get it close. And stick the nose of these things in and shove it up and in as far as I can. And of course it's going to shoot out. And I lied, it's going to try to sit either low or high, I can't remember. We'll try it and then we'll go from there. Try the screwdriver this time. Oh man, I think we got it. So it's sitting low, and then I end up pushing up and back as far as I could. And by doing that, it puts the spring where it needs to be. So you can see if I can get a hole behind this thing. There we go. You can actually see that we've got a pretty clear hole going through. Okay, and with any sort of luck, I'm gonna prime that spring up, and it shoots out. So we'll do it again. Taking the screwdriver, pushing it up and back. This, there we go. It is too far down. So you gotta push it. It wants to settle down here. We need to push it upwards. And when you do that, the thing wants to shoot out. Oh, I think I got it. Well, let's see. Yep. Got it. That's a pain. That's probably the worst part of the whole thing. But we've got spring in the trigger, so we did it right. Now before we mess anything else up, go ahead and shove our last roll pin in. Okay, get back to our slide we've got put together. Take your slide spring, goes in with the ramped edge pointing down. Should pop right in there easy. Pull it back, slide it down. Pull it back and let's set our slide and let's put our adapter back on. Light bit of pressure so it stays on. Seems to work. Safety. It's not gonna fire without magazine in. Now I hate dry firing my 22s, so I just keep a spent shell casing I just pick up and see it's clearly been fired. Pop that puppy in there. Safety on, it's not gonna fire. Safety off, shoots. Ejects, we're good to go. That's that.